Quiero enseñarte algo, pero prométeme que no huirás. Por favor, atame la cuerda a la cintura. No la sueltes, ¿eh?
Oye, ¿qué pasa?
Te presentaré a los demás.
I felt a lot of things. I was really excited. I couldn't really believe it, honestly. I remember reading the email and I just like silently screamed to myself. I was in the house by myself, just in my bedroom, and the email popped up. Couldn't believe it, honestly. I've always wanted to work with Tim. I love his movies. I love his style and his and he's a director who's not afraid to try some new things and take risks and make the movie that he really wants to make, and that's really admirable.
I was in shock. It didn't really sink in properly until you're sort of there on the first day and you get your hair and your makeup and your costume and you are called to set, and then you're like, oh man, this is not a drill, like this is really happening. You know, the whole time up until there I was just pinching myself all the time, just couldn't believe what was happening. He's always been sort of the dream director for me to work with, so yeah, it was a dream come true. It was good. We had that scene with the dinner, all the kids sitting around there, and it's where we first meet Jake. So it's actually a really good sort of introductory scene, and we all were a bit nervous, so it's quite quiet. And there was that sort of nervous atmosphere on set, which just worked perfectly for the scene. I don't know if that was planned or not, but good job if it was planned.
I really enjoy it, you know. It's different. It's a different sort of acting. It requires you to use your imagination, like a whole nother level of imagination that you only really use when you're a kid, when you're kind of running up the stairs and pretending there's a monster chasing you, and then you kind of scare yourself, and you have to go back to that kind of position, and you have to recreate that feeling, and it's a lot of fun, I find. I enjoy it.
You know what, he managed to sort of combine like real life props with the effects. So like the carrot scene, for example, he would, like the carrot was real, it was polystyrene carrot. And obviously it was lighter than anything, so the growing part of it was obviously CGI'd. And then when Bronwyn has to pull it out the ground, there's actually like a stunts guy hidden from camera, obviously, that's pulling it on the other side to really test her and make it look like she's using her strength rather than just like, whoop, there's the carrot, because, you know, she's super strong, but she still has to work for it, you know, it doesn't just come like that. So it's that sort of amazing combination of all these things that when actually bled together just look really magical and really, I mean, I don't know how they did it, but magic of movies. Yes, a new world's coming. I mean, you get used to it really after sort of like 6 months. I guess at first they were quite physically demanding, and I did ask for them to be a little bit weighted just to help me with that physicality of that sort of like lightness of her top half and then the heaviness of her shoes just keeping her anchored to the ground. But they were so cool. I feel like there's something you could like buy in Camden.
Spent a week in the tank just for maybe 2 or 3 scenes, just because a week to film it. But I think for me the most challenging thing was when I shot this, I was in my last year of college, I was doing my A-levels. So just balancing my studies and my revision and trying to fit that in whenever I wasn't on set, which was pretty much all the time, because I was in a lot of the scenes in the film. So that was tricky, and coming back to the hotel and having to do schoolwork rather than just being able to kind of like relax and prepare for the next day of work, I'd have to study film and geography, which is hard.
It's probably the underwater stuff, because I wasn't a very good swimmer before I started this movie, but I had to do a bit of practice before I actually got in the tank. You know, I did some diving practice and all of that stuff. And then actually being there that deep underwater is a little bit disconcerting when you know you're in safe hands and you've got the divers and the masks and everything, but it's still, you feel a bit like, oh, it makes me a bit nervous, you know? And then you add the weighted shoes and the silk dress and the wig to all of that, and it's like, you know, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in a film, I think. But it's so rewarding when you watch it back, and I mean, it looks amazing, doesn't it? Come and enjoy.